Hello friends, this is V Titans X once again, and I want to start out by saying thank you all for the tremendous support and love you had shown me in my last video. And I promise that we will be bringing out more of those videos, short films, movies related to PUBG and etc. But today what we're here is for arcade and how can you win almost all the arcade. I'll be straightforward, you cannot win every game you play because the game also depends upon a luck to a certain extent and the fact that there are going to be players that are really good. But yes, this is going to help you to get a lot more wins than you usually do. You are going to have a lot of improvement in your games and you could see that, and I guarantee you that. So the first thing which you actually have to do is getting that frame rates high. Hold up, I know not a lot of you actually have really good high-end smartphones to play the game with a lot of frame rates. But what I'm asking you is to improve the frame rate to a little bit possible extent you can. Maybe probably just 5 to 10 frames. How to do that? You could just make the graphics too smooth. You don't want high HD grasses to win arcade. What you need is a lot of frame rate. Maybe use GFX tool like I do, but just make sure you increase the frame rate to as much as you can. Reduce the graphics, increase the frame rate to as high as possible. I run on extreme. Just make sure that you have smooth as gameplay possible in your phone is what you're playing on. So this is really necessary because the fact that this mode is having a lot of action, that means you may encounter an opponent or an enemy every 10 to 5 seconds. You have to be really quick. So for that to happen, you need to make sure you're seeing what is actually happening in the game. So if there is a delay between what is actually happening in the game and what you get to see, that is significantly going to hinder the way or how you are actually playing the game. So what you need to do is make sure that you play on the smoothest setting you can. Make sure you get the highest frame rate you can. There are a lot of videos out there on how to increase it. Maybe ask them to go look it out, check it out, and maybe I'll make one soon. But first of all, do that. Just make sure you play on the smoothest settings you can. Reduce the graphics. No matter how good phone you are running on, reduce the graphics. You don't want graphics. What you need is that frame rate. Now that's done, here's something which a lot of you did not know about. It is actually the layout you're playing on. I'm not asking you to change the way you play, I'm not asking you to switch to 3 fingers or 4 fingers or 5 finger. What I'm asking you to do is make sure that the movement button is as small as you could possibly make it. Yes, this does affect your gameplay. Why? Because this can improve your gameplay on the basis of jiggle movement. This is what they call it. This allows you to move really quick when you are actually in a combat, and the movements to the left and the right, horizontal movement, if the horizontal movement is going to increase significantly by making the arrow key as small as you can. So this is not only going to make movements for you easier around the map, but this is also going to make it very difficult for your opponents to spot you and take you down. So you need to keep moving. Yep, that's another tip. Just keep moving, and to make movement a lot easier, the best thing is to make the smaller movement button. Just make sure you make it as small as you can, and maybe just try adjusting out. If you can, try to switch to the 3 fingers or the claw method. The claw, the better. The more fingers you use, the better the gameplay you get, the more the movements you can do and actions you can perform at the same time, and that is going to put you in a lot of advantage. But I'm not going to be talking about that because that is for another video. But yes, make sure that you make the movement button as small as you can. This may be difficult, but I'm saying you guys 2 to 3 games or maybe 1 day to 2 day, you will get used to it. Make sure that you realize that where you are actually keeping your thumb while you're moving, and just place the movement button exactly over there and reduce the size, so you won't have much difficulty in switching to the size smaller than you usually play. That is what I would say is something which you have to be ready with before starting the game. The remaining tips are actually what you have to follow when you are playing the game or when you're actually in the mode. First thing you have to keep in mind is the landing. The landing is really crucial. I'm not saying you guys to land really to the end of the zone and survive there. That is actually not going to improve your gameplay, and that is not fun. I'm going to teach you guys, so I'm going to give you tips on how to improve your gameplay while having fun at the game mode. So rather than jumping at the hotspots like the container of Georgia Pool or the top of the hospital or school, jump a little away from the hotspots. Yes, this may not sound really useful, but this is going to change the entire game. Because when you jump at the hotspots, there may be 10 guns, yes, but the fact that there are 20 people going to land over there is going to make your chances of not getting a gun really high. But jumping a little away from those hotspots, maybe there's just going to be 4 guns, 4 to 6 guns, but that is more than enough for a squad of 4 to have 1 gun each and to conquer or control the game from there. So jump a little away from the hotspot. I'm not asking you to jump to the end. If you're doing that, if you just want to win somehow by sneaking, just don't jump in the end, just go out of the zone. Yes, you're not going to take up damages, you can loot pretty nicely. Just go out of the zone, loot, and then rush back into it. But I don't recommend that. That is not going to improve your gameplay or your game skills, and that is no fun at all. So jump a little away from the hotspots, try to get enough loot, and then from there move ahead. That is the second part. Whether to stay where you are, whether to rush into the hotspot, or whether to fall back. This is crucial, guys. This actually depends upon 2 things. Wait, I'm going to talk about rushing in. Rushing in depends upon 2 things. The first thing, making sure that you are strong. You can rush in. You have enough guns. You have a confident team, and you could take down the enemies out there. If you're confident about that, rush in. It's fun. It's going to improve your gameplay. You are going to have a lot of fun. That is how it's supposed to be played. The second thing is the zones. Practically placement. Won't be having anything. If the zone is against him and you may end up losing, to eventually move there. So you do not wait till the end, but wait for like 1 minute or so, and then push into the hotspot. Those who are actually at the hotspot is going to, you guys, get almost all the loot from the map. Yes, they are going to end a lot of people, and they must have killed them. That is the reason why they have survived. So if you are waiting till the end, by that time they would have looted all that. So you are going to face a squad or a player who has almost all the loot in the map. And if you had been staying there till the end to rush in, you from the hotspot and where you have been to the end of the zone. This is not a likely situation which would happen. The other possibility which I'm going to talk about is that the zone. If the zone is at the end, that is when you have to actually fall back. But let's come back to the first case when you don't have a loot. Yes, just fall back to the edge of the zone and try to loot from the end. Stick together, that is really important. Stick together, try to find those solo players if you're playing squad, and then try to take him down, and then try to split the loot. If there's like 2 guns, maybe one of you take 1 gun, the other one gun, and then there's the pistol. So take that, split the weapon, and then stay together till you get a decent loot. So that is when you have to push back. And the second option when to push back is the zone. So the zone is actually away from you at the end of the map. Should you push back at the start, or should you hold there till the zone actually ends up really close to you when the blue zone starts moving? I would say wait till the blue zone actually starts moving. This is going to give an advantage if the end zones are actually empty areas, because the only spots for your opponents to take cover is going to be the grass and where they prawn. So you're going to be having a little difficulty when you're trying to find them, because they're prawning between those grasses like the snakes. But other than that, it's all bandage for you, because you will be having a cover from where you are actually camping or where you had been landed in the first place. So you have a cover to take, and you are actually moving around, and then you actually have control of the game. And the fact that all 4 of your teammates, if all are alive, at least maybe 1 or 2 of them are with you. What I'm going to ask to do is, don't stay really close when you're moving back. Don't stay really far. Make sure you are having a vision of each of your teammates, but a little bit away. So in case one of you gets shot down, you know which direction it's coming from, and you could ask your teammate or direct your teammate to attack him and make sure you get the kill. The other thing which you want to keep in mind is try your level best to communicate, talk, try to use the audio chat which the game offers. This is going to improve your team gameplay really well, and that is also going to get you a lot of wins. Now besides that, I'm going to talk about different guns you could play on. So while talking about an all weapons right M11 game, I would say that try to keep in a sniper only if there is a lot of open area in the map or the location where the game has allocated to you. If it is an area with a lot of buildings and somewhere like in the middle of Pubg and things like that, I don't think so. Sniper is going to be a lot of help. So you get something like AWM or M24. Keep it, yeah, it is good. But SKS and Mini 14 at that sports, I don't think so. It's useful. Try to get a Uzi. Uzi is beast at close combat ranges. Try to get Uzi, M416, you know the usuals. So get those in all weapon or item weapon game. When it comes to shotguns, make sure you have two different shotguns. It actually depends upon what gun you like. You can use your own preferences, but yeah, have two different one of those. And if you could get a pistol, make sure you get those. And while you're entering a building, run with the shotgun, not with the pistol. Make sure you are ready to change into pistol whenever you need, because there are times when you may encounter more than 2 to 3 or even more than that. You may come across two squads, so your bullets may get over. So rather than reloading the shotgun's bullet, you have to be ready to switch into your pistol mode, because pistols are also a good weapon to use in the shotguns mode. The next thing is knowing when to heal and when not to heal, when to use your medkits and when to use your energy drinks. In a shotguns game, if your health is above 70, I would say do not heal unless and until you are really sure that there are no enemies around you. Just run around with 70 to 60 HP, I would say, because unless they get a really nice headshot, like perfect headshot, the probability of them knocking you down with one shot is less, it's slim. So if you're having like around 70 to 60 HP and there's a chance for you to get in one-on-one v combat situation, do not hesitate, go for it. If your aim is good, definitely go for it. But if your aim is terrible, then try to run away, find a safe spot, and then heal and then play safe. But yeah, 70 to 60 is a really good HP for shotguns game. Now for a game involving AR, assault rifles, make sure you keep your health 100 or at least 90 plus at max. You know, I usually have 100 plus the energy thingy on top to my max, at least halfway through, because in the AI you never know when someone is going to rush you with an SMG or an Uzi. You just have to be really ready with your health. Make sure you keep your health at maximum every time you could in a game which involves assault rifles. I would say the same for a melee game. When melee comes, as far as I'm concerns, the pan is the deadliest weapon you could get. Make sure you can find that. And medications, make sure your life or the health bar stays full, and try to drink as much as juice you can while trying to get into encounter, because you may get hit. So once you hit, you could start just running around in circles till your health gets restored once again due to the energy drink which you have consumed, which you had consumed before getting into the fight. That's practically it, guys. Keep these things in mind and try to play next time. And try to play without scopes when you're playing the item weapon and all weapons game. That is going to give you a lot of advantage once you get used to it, that is. I know some of you use red dot holographic, but try not to use those. Try without the scopes. It's going to improve your game. But apart from that, keeping all these things in mind, try playing your next game and check if you have an improvement. I guarantee you, you will definitely have some improvements. And if you keep following this for like at least 2 to 3 days, you're going to improve the game significantly. But that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you found the video helpful, and if you had fun or enjoyed it at some point, make sure to leave a like, comment what I should do next, subscribe, have fun, sketch.